Good evening, gamers. Let's have a good one. That's the first thing I send in picks and bans. What do you think that I'm going in that game?
Definitely like 3 and 8.
2 and 12.
Actually, depending on your role, I'd say if you're like a hunter player, you're like 3 and 8 easily.
3 and 8,
Yeah,
lowest damage in the
You
game.
died at 2, then 4, and then you got soloed at like 8.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Probably in picks and bans.
Yeah, let's save this. I wanna discuss this with Scream here in a moment. Welcome in everybody to the roll queue for a few of our junglers. And I actually just realized this. We've got World Champion junglers all on the round table here today. I've got Twig, Adapting, Cyno, and Scream here with me. Scream, on the weight screen there, you're deep in thought, deep in maybe discussion with your teammates.
No.
No,
yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah,
what do you think you were thinking about in that moment?
I mean, probably just like, oh, can I get away with like kind of a for fun pick here? And then that's probably what I'm pulling out there.
How often are you having those thoughts on a daily basis, do you think? on an SPL day, how often are you having that internal conversation?
It's always a tough one because I try to go the distance of for fun and good. Like there's a gray area for me, and I'm like, well, let's see what I can do this game, you know? Sometimes I'll reel it back, but you know, you gotta have a little bit of fun.
Cyno, do you feel like you meet Scream on that level? I feel like you too, as junglers in the last year or so, have been touted as the unique jungle pick, fellas. Do you feel like you meet him on that mindset?
I mean, I only pick stuff I think is good, though. Like,
right.
I'm never, like, trolling. I actually think the stuff I pick is really good.
Scream is trolling, right, as well.
Sometimes, yeah.
Every once in a while.
I don't troll anymore, so.
Anymore? When did that stop?
Probably like 3 years ago. Yep. So
way back in the before times.
Well, yeah. Sometimes in scrims I'll get a little feisty.
Yeah, that's
but
okay. There are times for it. Scrims might be one of those times. All right, fellas. Let's rewind the clock here a little bit. And I think Twig, you might have been on one of these roll queues before, so you probably have already answered this question. But we're going to do it again anyway. For those who haven't tuned in before. How did you guys start jungling? What is your jungle story? Twig, I'll start with you. How did the role come to be in your Smite universe?
It's easy for me. I started as a mid. I think it's a more fun role. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me.
You still think that to this day?
It's more fun in ranked scrims, probably anything but actual match day. I think jungling is very fun on match day, especially if you actually have to make hard decisions. But no, season 2, I role swap with Zerhos. I really jungle is so fun. In comp, I feel like you just everything you do, every decision you make, just affects the whole game and affects every lane a lot of the time. So yeah. Start season 2, slam jungle, why not?
My goodness, many moons ago.
Yeah.
And look at you now, you got a lightning bolt around that collar.
Yeah, right on the neck.
Right on the neck. World champion jungler. Someone who's won a couple of them, Adapting. What's your jungle story? How did that begin with you?
Honestly, I'm not even sure how it started. I also used to play like mid and solo, and then I think I just was watching like streams, and I remember watching like a lot of Andians there, and like I was watching like the Gars and stuff, and Shing a little bit. And then I just started jungling, and then I was just enjoying it a lot. And I really liked like crit jungles.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I liked hitting people for like 2k with like a Nasha or something. So
you latched onto it.
Yeah.
Where are you? You're one of these. Where is the Adapting one? There's an Adapting one. Oh, you're way over there. You're in front of Twig though. Yeah. You're in front of Twig. Were you playing jungle at that time? What season was that?
That was season 3.
Season 3, yeah.
See, that's way before my time. But you were clearly hyped about some kill you had just gotten. Cyno, how about you? What's your jungle story?
I guess it's pretty similar. I used to play mid and ranked all the time. And I lost a lot of games, and I thought it was my jungler's fault, so...
So naturally,
it seemed like jungle had more impact, yeah, so I started jungling, yeah.
Understood. When you're blaming a role, you should probably go play that role. If you can't beat him, join him kind of mindset. Scream, round us out here. What was your jungle path?
I think I always just kind of like started with jungle. I think I was like, oh, this is cool. I like don't have to sit in a lane and be bored for like 15 minutes. Normal MOBA stuff. And yeah, I did watch a lot of Shing as well. I was like in middle school, so like I watched Shing in the morning, like before I went to school, because he'd stream really early in the morning, and I was like, this guy's building Winged Blade Ymir. This is so sick. Like, and it was just so funny. And yeah, I just kind of like, I think I just jungled forever, kind of.
So how old were you when you started playing competitive Smite? When it became a full-time job for you?
15.
How old is that? What is that? Freshman year of high school?
I think that's eighth
grade?
grade. 8th or freshman year. 8th grade, I think. Yeah.
Were you just the coolest kid in town?
I was in a few years. Yeah.
Right.
After I won. Yeah.
Right. It took a minute, but you got there.
Yeah. They were like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just play video games."
I play video games for a living because that was such like a new age of it. I mean, like I think back to like MLG and those sorts of things, sort of this emerging field. And I think it's a unique perspective because we got a bunch of fellas at different stages of life. And so like I looked at you, Twig, and when you started playing competitive Smite, was it interesting for you in your stage of life at that time when you became full-time pro gamer?
Yeah, it was hard. And my parents, kind of understandably, didn't really think it was a valid career choice. And they were like, "What are you doing? You're wasting your life." Kind of, which is really understandable. They came around, eventually, but it was kind of a hard thing, especially like I'd watch what you were saying about MLG, like I'd watch like StarCraft 2 tournaments and CS:GO tournaments and be like, oh, like it would be such a dream to be them, to just sit there and just get paid for what they're doing.
Right.
And I didn't think it would really ever happen with Smite. I won't lie. The kind of the biggest reason I was playing it is because I'm competitive. I'll always play ranked in every game mode, but I didn't even know it was a thing until I got asked to join to scrim for a team, and I was like, oh, okay, like you get money for this too, and kind of went from there.
Yeah, and you were able to build it into now a wonderful career.
The launch tournament, it was a big deal. Just having paid tickets to go somewhere and play. So it's like amazing.
Yep. Adapting, would you say you followed a similar trend to these other fellas where it was a bit unproven at first wherever you were when you started playing competitive Smite, and it all sort of worked out?
Yeah, I mean, I just played for fun to begin with, and then I just played with it. Like, I just wanted to, keep improving, and then eventually, like very randomly for me, I just got offered like a team spot for, it was like I5, and then just kind of played from there.
Built up from there.
Yep.
Cyno, where were you at in life when competitive full-time gaming became a reality for you?
Well, I started playing Xbox. I was in the Xbox Pro League when I was 16, I think, and then I got SPL when I was 17. So I was like just finishing high school. Like my first full year of SPL, I just finished high school.
Got it. Did you ever do university or college or anything like that? Well,
Yeah, I did.
You've been on and off, right?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it a bit?
Well, when I first started, I did a semester of college.
Right.
I was doing SPL at the time, and then I decided to take a gap year.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, I've been on and off.
Did that take some convincing to move you away from the schooling and
Yeah,
get you
yeah.
back here in studio?
Definitely. Like my parents did not want me to take a gap
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
I'm sure it was a master class in convincing. I actually met your parents, Twig, at Worlds, and they were very happy and excited about the whole thing. Actually, I don't think your mom is a huge fan of mine because she says I stress her out a lot with the way that I describe the games. She says she has to leave the room often.
Yeah, she's. I think she is a fan of you. She just.
I think it was a compliment in a.
Yeah.
I'm so good at describing
Yeah,
stuff,
exactly.
maybe that it stresses her out.
It's a good trait, I think, to bring hype to the game. But that was the first Worlds they've been to.
Yep.
So
That's a good one for them to have gone to. And I want to talk a bit about that because we'll talk about jungle specifically for a little bit here. But I think it's a unique opportunity where I've got 4 world champion junglers sitting around this table with me. And so I want to go around, and I'll start with you, Scream. Do you remember anything specifically about your World Championship run, whether it's plays you made, the meta at the time, that event specifically? Does anything stand out about your Worlds run?
I mean, I remember playing original Bastet, and people were like, "Oh, this is like his character, and it's so cool, and this is awesome."
That's like the put on your jacket, it's ice cold thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
How did that start? I don't even know what that means. Is it just you're so good at the pick that you're cold?
I mean,
I don't know what it means.
I mean, I'm just icy on it. What can you say? Like,
Yeah, right. You lean into it. Sure.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole I was 17 years old,
Uh-huh.
and it's like I don't think I fully had an understanding of this is like really cool. I was playing my game, like I was just playing Smite. So even after I won, I was like, I was really happy for the the next few days or whatever. Like apparently my dad said like I wasn't never not smiling, but it didn't really set in for like a really long time. Like I just think it's really cool.
Yeah. Cyno, how about you? What do you remember about your Worlds run? Whether it's jungle specifically, meta, whatever that might be.
I mean, obviously it was really cool, but I thought it was really cool. I was able to play like 7 different gods that Worlds run. I think the only god I played twice was Rat, so I just think there was a lot of diversity back then. Like I think we had like 3 or 4 different starts as well. Like it was just, you were doing different stuff every game, which was really fun.
And I don't know if you've caught our SPL intro, but it's Finch handing you the MVP trophy, and he reminds you that it's really heavy. Was it as heavy as advertised? Do you remember the trophy?
Yeah,
MVP
it was really heavy. Yeah, it was really heavy. Yeah.
He was very nervous about you dropping it, and I'm glad that you didn't. It was a great moment. Adapting, you've won a couple. What do you remember about those couple of years and jungling at the time?
I mean, the set that stands out the most to me will always be the set against C9, because that's kind of like the first time we faced them, and they were kind of like facing like a lot of people I had looked up to for a long time.
Yep.
And like especially like jungling against Annister, but then also like we get off to like a great starting game 1, end up actually getting outplayed on the map. They're just like utilizing split pushes, Jan assaults like really well, and we didn't really know how to deal with that at the time. And then I remember we get into like game 4, and they're up to 2-1 versus us. And I don't know if this is the game where we pick like Fenris and Cupid, but like these weren't really picks that we had like prioritized a lot. It's just kind of picks that we were like, okay, this is our time to rock and roll kind of thing. And yeah, then we ended up winning that set afterwards.
That's right. And one of the most storied Worlds junglers we've ever had. Twig, one of the most storied Worlds players we've ever had. Season 9 SMITE World Championship, you finally get the win.
I was going to say, just before that, I've been in every single Worlds run.
For all these guys.
He 3-0'd me in his Worlds run. He 2-0'd me. The thing is that Season 5 was like, everyone knew it was the last year for Obey, and like we were so confident because Prime, I'd say along with Moswell, was like the top 2 mids at playing Zeus and Apwash, like at the best level, relics, baiting, everything. And I thought we had a real shot at that tournament. Obviously, we got 2-0'd. But like I think we had a pretty good set, if memory serves. But like he 3-0'd me, it wasn't close. And Kenneth, on both of his 2 Worlds wins, they owned us. It wasn't close. Even the finals, Season 3 was pretty rough. But like, so like thinking, I was part of like so many Worlds runs, just being the loser. So
right.
It felt really good that I had one run where I think the opposite happened, where it was pretty like a dominating performance from the whole team, really.
Right.
But yeah, obviously amazing.
And I'm curious, and I hope there's a good answer to this. There might actually not be a good answer to this, but when I think about obviously with COVID and the pandemic, we weren't able to have Worlds for a couple of years. Luckily, that did not run into any of your guys' wins. As a player, maybe more generally, but as a jungler, do you feel like crowd affects when you're at a live event? Is there a world where crowd affects jungling in any type of way, whether that's yelling about objectives, ganks, things like that? I'm sure as a player there's more energy behind everything, but as a jungler specifically in front of a crowd, do you guys feel like there's any difference from normal SPL sets to actually playing in front of folks?
I'd say I'd prefer the way it is. It's because the thing about jungle is you're always doing something. Like let's compare it to like ADC or mid. They're kind of like waiting for their moment in the game, which can be like, the hype of the game is building up over time. So if they hear the crowd, they're like, okay, like eventually something's going to happen, then I'm going to have to be good or I'm going to lose, right? But like for jungle, it's like we get a lot of opportunities to impact the game. So I feel like it's more spread out in a way, if that makes sense. Like, if it makes us anxious or whatever, it spreads out, which I think I'd prefer it that way. So I'd say it's like less so impactful to us, I'd say, a crowd. Right. But outside of like a general hype perspective, it's awesome. Like, it's great.
Does anyone else feel like, does everyone feel the same as Scream? Is there other perspectives on crowd and jungling?
I think there's a lot of momentum. Like I remember different times, like even that set against United that I was talking about, like times where Scream would get like a level 2 or 3 kill, and it's like there's so much momentum. You know, the crowd is like already like so hyped already, and you're just sat there 0-0-0, like not doing anything, and it's like there's definitely a momentum. And even like the worlds I played, when things are going well across the map, it's like it feels like nothing can stop you if you're just playing your game. You know.
Do you feel like there's more of a pressure to do things when you can feel the energy of the crowd behind you and kind of this murmuring going on? Maybe it's a slower game. Do you feel like you just that energy?
I definitely feel that, especially since I guess if I'm on a side, then I'm more of an AFK jungler. I definitely feel like if I'm not doing anything, then it's like kind of bad off the get-go. If like nothing's happening for 10 minutes, everyone's like, oh, Twig's fun to watch.
Right.
You know? You know what I mean? But it's fine.
You are fun to watch, Twig. Don't you worry about it. I'm trying to think of like big pop moments for junglers, because you guys are usually involved in First Bloods. Is that with a crowd behind you, maybe some moments that you remember specifically? Obviously, winning in that moment for you guys was maybe some of the loudest the crowd was. But those opening kills in World Championship sets, are those kind of noises you feel like you can remember?
I mean, for me specifically, I really remember like a good objective call, like get a good fire giant, or like you sneak up FG, or you get a good gold. Like I feel like those were like super hype moments that I really remember. Because
was it your set against the Dragons where people were cheering for just straight up jungle
for
camps?
the blue buffs and totems? Yeah.
Did you guys realize that was happening at first?
We had no idea what was going on
Even
until
till the
after
end
the
of the
set.
set?
Yeah, we didn't know. We thought they were doing stuff on the map or something. Yeah.
And you never saw a correlation where it's like the moment you drop speed, everyone starts losing their mind. You're like, there must be something else going on the map.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think about it. I just heard the crowd cheering. I was just so focused on the game.
I guess you have to be that way because there's such an energy in the room. I just think it's fun hearing everyone's perspective on those sorts of things. Charlie wanted me to ask you this, and we're going to pivot back to more specific jungle talk, I think. How many teammates is the speed buff worth? You're at speed, you know a gank is about to happen on a certain side of the map. Either you can get speed or you can save X number of teammates. What is the proper number of teammates to leave your speed buff there on the map?
So if it'd just be like the difference between like walking by it to help them or grabbing it and then maybe getting there.
And then
anyways.
maybe getting there. You're
Definitely.
guaranteed to help if you just walk by it.
Guaranteed to.
You can maybe help, but you're going to be there
I'll
a
be
bit
honest.
later.
I'm killing the speed buff quick. I'll be fast about it and then I'll show up later.
So far.
I mean, you know, as long as I'm quick about clearing the speed, you know, an extra few seconds, guys, like just survive. Like,
You're saying all 4 is still not valid enough to just run past it. What's a timing thing? Surely they can survive half a second.
yeah,
right?
like it literally takes like half a second out of my day. Like I might as well just pick it up. Like it might be useful to me.
Is that a ridiculous standpoint, anyone? Are we thinking 4 is a clear and obvious number, or are junglers just on the same page with this?
I think it's true statement.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
goodness.
copium is that if you clear it, then you get there faster, right, with the speed buff.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
Fire giant to
maybe it
gold,
all
you're like,
equals
if I
out.
just clear it, I'll just get there faster anyway.
Yep.
But you know you'd be there way faster if you didn't take the speed.
That's right. It could all. No, it probably doesn't even out, depending on how long it takes you to clear things. Looking back over all of the years of Smite, I know that a lot of you guys have played different roles at different times. Is there a specific jungle meta that stands out to you as one of your favorite times playing the role, whether that's item diversity, god diversity, or lack thereof, and you just happen to be playing your favorite gods?
Season 2.
Why is that?
Like jungle had like OP speed buff, a lot of strong
All about the
gods.
speed with you guys.
I don't know if like Ao Kwang was pretty strong. Like, I felt like there was so many gods that were like really strong in jungle, and I felt like the role was just like mega strong. You had so much impact. You had full invade, like XP, like everything.
You played Ao Kwang the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
In the SPL, and you kind of slammed a little bit.
Full invade XP. What a time. What
Yeah.
a time to be alive.
When was that? Was that, again, this is before they changed invades when? After season 6?
Yeah.
So my first year in
It was
Smite would have been
I think it
season
was
7.
season 5 or 6, yeah.
I think invade meta at Worlds was 6, right? When the supports
it was
just followed
5
you around.
and 6 in a way.
Season 6 was all invades, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember 5, the solo would go to the enemy purple a lot, right, at level 1?
Yeah, it'd be like a 3v3 in dual lane.
Yeah. I mean, lots of seasons. I think season 3 had a like travelers jungle meta because you couldn't guarantee your speed, so you just get 50 gold or whatever from everyone. Collect it. But so there's been, and then they really cracked down at the start of season 6 on like restricting invades, making it like discouraging it, making it less valuable.
Right. Was what you like. You can, but you're gonna be super slow, I guess, while you're running. You gotta get speed and then invade. Then you're gonna be.
Thankfully, they're tuning it back a little bit though, because you know I kind of like invades.
I was
think
gonna say,
it
do you
adds
prefer a
something
world where it's just super viable and?
I mean, like super viable, and they should do it every game. No, because it was terrible in season 6. You know, I'm like, oh, I can get my speed buff. It's like, no, I can't. Their support's here.
Yeah, you got someone just following you around. Is that your least favorite meta in Smite?
I could not play ranked at all because it was the most
was the
unfitting.
worst,
it was
for sure,
terrible. But like, there should be a little bit of a medium. Like, you know, I feel like if like, let's say Yamoja, she's a good example. She could like invade a buff and kill it. Like maybe she should be able to more often than she currently can, or whatever like that.
Right. I guess the idea is that you should pick a support because it's good at invading and not invade on literally any support ever.
Yeah, basically.
Type of mindset. Cyno, how about you? What was your favorite world, or not worlds? I guess worlds maybe, but favorite jungle meta of all time?
I'd say season 5. I mean, obviously because I won that year, but also I feel like that was the last year before mids realized they can just run around the jungle and just take all of it. Like season 5, I literally told Moswell to sit in mid and clear waves. That's all you do.
That's right.
And I got all of my jungle camps.
And he went quietly. He accepted it.
He accepted it, yeah.
Sounds like. Yeah, is that a big thing with jungling? Are mid laners your farm arch nemesis? Nemesis in your mind? Are mid laners just the bane of jungle existence?
I mean, yeah.
Or does it depend on the year, maybe?
It's either your mid laner or the enemy solo laner who's playing Amma and taking all your back camps, and you can't do anything about it. Something like that. So it's one or the other all the time.
Either or. If you look at, I always like this kind of theory crafting experiment because I get a variety of answers. If you're playing other games, whether it's MMOs or FPSs, whatever, any other game where there are different types of roles that you can choose, do you guys always play the assassin, stealth, burst style character, or do you get a bit more variety in ranged carries, tanks, things like that when you're playing other games?
I usually just like whatever has high DPS.
Yeah, just big DPS numbers, you don't care?
Doesn't matter. FPS games, any game.
Right.
I'm just DPS.
Oh, well, luckily you can do that on jungle and Smite. How about you, Scream? Are you assassinating no matter what game you're playing?
Yeah, in WoW, I'm like the rogue mage type of guy. Like, I kind of stick to those.
Mage is so different from rogue, though. Do you get bored just sitting in the back, just cycling abilities?
Well,
do you feel this urge to get in?
Well, no, I played Frost Mage, which is different. Like, you know, it has more of a controlling factor to it, which I think is fun. It's just different. And, you know, you're kind of like rolling the dice on that class a little bit for procs, so.
I physically can't bring myself to play mage in that game.
Why not?
So I don't know anything about that role, really.
Fair enough.
Because I need 2 hammers, and I need them to have lightning and fire on them when I jump in. And just hard own. I have to do it, and every game that I play, I feel like I need to do that. Cyno, are you an assassin guy through and through, no matter what game you're playing?
I just need to get in there.
See? Yeah. He gets it. So it could be assassin, but like potentially bruisery type DPS.
Yep.
Twig, round us out
kind
here.
of exactly the same as Cyno. I feel like if I'm not literally pressing W in almost any game, it's very... Like, Smite is probably the game I press W the least on.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot, considering how many times I die.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so...
Got to be assassins or W King one way or another. All right, I guess with that, if there was one role in Smite that you would never consider playing, what would it be?
I mean, support, obviously, right?
But I think you could W key and support a bit, right? I figured you would say like AD carry.
Both are
but
terrible.
You get to do big damage numbers.
Both are terrible, so
anything in
dual lane is just keep me out of it, please.
Why is that?
I just hate dual lane.
Okay.
All they do is complain over there. They're never useful in any way. They're like, oh, I just got canked. Like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, but you weren't there because you were on speed buff. You said 2 is not
I was letting them know
so
they're getting ganked. I was letting them know. They know, but they still die, and I'm like, unlucky.
So it's personal for you. I'm not doing any of the dual lane roles because it's personal.
100%.
Cyno, what role would you never play in Smite?
Laning phase and solo lane seems so boring to me. I don't think I could do it every game.
But team fight phase, you maybe could
Team
wrap
fight
your
would
head
be
around
fun.
it.
Yeah, I just couldn't do the laning phase every game.
Well, you don't like just cycling through blues and totems and cooldown buffs?
No, I do not. Yeah.
You two, same answers? You thinking duo, solo might be the worst?
I think solo for me now. I don't know. Sometimes I play it is fun, but like a lot of the time, like if you don't have pressure and you're just sitting there and just letting them clear, and so you can clear the wave after, it's like the most boring thing in the world.
And they're always asking you to come defend their blue.
Yeah.
Twig, how about you?
It's like Scream said, get me out of that dual lane in caps. I think is like that should be a queue as well, right? You know how you can double queue whatever
That's right.
2 roles you want. It should just be get me out of that dual lane.
Literally anything.
And I'll play
but these
anything
two.
else. Yeah, just get me out.
Maybe that's a good theory. Is we in the same way that you can check the different game modes you want to queue as, you can check any of the 5 roles that you want to queue as, but you have to at least select 2. You can change around your priority.
Yeah,
It's good. We're live developing new theories for Smite. I think the jungle ranked experience is certainly a unique one, right? Because I think that this transcends any other MOBA, any other game. I feel like the experience could be very similar, where if a lane falls behind, it's always the jungler's fault because you're not there, right? But if you are getting a lane ahead, the other side of the map doesn't feel that way. How would you describe the jungle ranked experience in Smite? Can you even, I mean, I'm sure if you really want to climb, you're queuing jungle, but do you feel like you have to stay away from it because you play so much in pro, or are you slamming your head against the wall with all the ranked people?
I like to play other roles if I know there's a jungler on my team. I just hate when there's no jungler on my team, because then I'm like, okay, like usually when you don't have like someone who knows how to jungle, like the game is just unplayable.
So you'll let someone else go if you know they're actually good jungling. I imagine you win the jungle debate. Like, no, I want to play jungle. No, I want to play jungle. You say, I'm literally adapting, and then they have to let you play jungle, right? Is that how it usually goes?
I'm usually his top pick, so.
Top MMR, so it doesn't matter. Twig, how would you describe the jungle ranked experience?
Oh man, I think it's real bad. I think you want to stay away from playing too much jungle in ranked. I feel like it's kind of a cesspit, because a lot of the games, especially if you're like high MMR, your team are just going to be worse, so they're just going to naturally lose 4v4.
Right.
And then like your impact has to be like so like map dominating. You go from lane to lane playing whack-a-mole, you know. I feel like that's like the worst of ranked jungle, because it's like, and then if your mallet isn't big enough for whack-a-mole,
That's right.
then everyone's gonna go, yeah, I mean, they can just play up, I guess, all game, you know, and not get punished, you know.
You got to work on it.
Their jungle kills me, but our jungle, you know. It's like, well, okay, this is great.
Wards exist, play safe, whatever. No,
Yeah.
it's a
You could
jungle's
just be vibing out in some lane, like the easiest thing in the world to do, just walk around lane and killing 6 minions every 30 seconds.
What a dream.
It's like so easy. So,
And all you have to do is farm and stand back a little bit.
yeah, and sit there, with wards. It's like,
No. It's your fault, Twig. And you just got to accept that. Cyno, if you could play if you had to play one god in ranked jungle to give you the best chance of winning, who do you think it would be?
Best chance to win?
Yeah, best chance to win. I don't care about fun. I don't care about anything else. You need to lock in a pick in ranked with 4 other randoms, and you need to win the game from jungle. What would it be?
Probably Hebo.
Yeah? Why is that?
I just think he's really good against most players. Most players don't know how to play around him. He's a good jungle clear. You're good early game, you're good late game. Don't really have any negatives to that character right now.
How do you play around Hebo? Or are you revealing too many secrets now? You need your free MMR.
I don't know, you just need to you gotta beat the knockup sometimes, I don't know. But it feels the worst when you're against Hebo and ranked and your carries just insta-die. And it's like, okay, the fight's over.
That's right. And it's always the carry's fault, and we know that. Scream, who are you picking? You need an insta-win.
It's Anubis.
That can't be true.
I played him in SPL.
Was it an insta-win?
They stole Fire Giant, and the game went really long because of it. But it was, it was looking okay for a little bit.
So you're playing Anubis jungle
Just think
in
about
ranked,
this,
you
okay?
need to
Think
win.
about this.
Okay.
The god has like 780% scaling in his kit. He only has to have 1 point in his stun. It's 1.6 seconds, level 1. Okay, that's the same as max level Thorwall, by the way. Crazy. He has Prot Shred in his kit for early game. He can move in his 1. That's OP. He's got all the damage you could ever need.
Slithers in his 1.
It's only a 50% slow.
Yeah.
That's like,
And if you got speed buff.
and Doom Orb, it's really not that slow. Think about that.
You're flying around in your 1.
Yeah, and nobody can fight you in the jungle because you're Anubis, right? You win 1v1. So you just kind of walk everywhere and kill everything.
I'm sold. Yeah, but does that require it to be Smite World Champion Scream to be playing it? Or do you think could I get into my plat ranked games, pick up the Goobus and run it down?
I think it takes some getting used to, for sure.
That's a nice way of putting it, huh? You ever seen me play Smite?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, I've tuned into the stream for a bit.
I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks. The ranked grind just overcame me. It wore me down.
Dave to Diamond, what happened to that?
We got to Plat 3, lost 3 in a row one night, and I actually haven't played it since then.
Lucky.
I wasn't playing Anubis jungle. I never played jungle at all, actually.
Happened.
Twig, I need to jump back in. I got to play some ranked, and I'm going to play jungle.
Yep.
Who do I need to be locking in for an insta-win?
Probably say Bakasura, honestly. You just run around, eat things, and then eat your enemies,
The opponent, right.
Yeah, I've been trying to peddle this 3% execute where you just press 2 on them and you eat them up.
Oh, I like that.
And then, but like, you can kill objectives fast. You just get Golden Blade and run around. Oh, your lane just died? Oh, you're off to their lane. Golden Blade, whack, whack, whack. Eat up the minions, leave. And he can kill objectives. He can kind of just backdoor. If your team's really bad, sometimes you need to run it down a lane and just get a Phoenix with a bomb. And it's like, I think he's got the perfect mix. It's like him or Merc, I think.
Right.
Of just running around.
Mercury is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Recently, if you go the big old crit build. Adapting, who are you locking in to guaranteed win your ranked game?
Merc, yeah.
Merc.
He's like a cheat code in ranked.
Has Merc always been that way? Like, would you have answered the same 3 or 4 years ago about Mercury?
Always for me in ranked, yeah. I've had the same win rate on him for like 5 years.
Do you know what your win rate is?
70%.
That was quick. He knows it offhand.
Write that down. Write that down.
Alpha thing. All right. Tomorrow.
I don't want to hammer ranked too hard, but I find this is where the folks can really relate to you guys. I'm sure everyone out there who's watching is high tier world champion level jungler in their own ranked games. Biggest pet peeves in the draft screen, and this can be pertaining to jungle specifically or just your own personal pet peeves when you're in picks and bans, and X happens. What tests the mental before you even load into the ranked game?
Well, there's the obvious, like, somebody suggests their pick, and then somebody bans it because they're like, oh, that's not very good. And then you just see them arguing in lobby, and you're like, this is going to be a great game of Smite.
And you're starting off on the right foot.
Yep.
So teammates arguing in picks and bans is never a good thing.
Yep. It's terrible.
Do you ever let things like that affect who you're ganking in the actual game? Like if somebody's being a bit more complainy in lobby, are you immediately saying, all right, you're on your own?
I'm just playing my own game, you know. It's just if we lose, we lose. That's kind of how I view it. Like, it doesn't really impact me too much.
Even if a dude is or a gamer is being harsh in lobby, you got to be the bigger man. And accept that sometimes you just got to gank that.
I'm not going to let their bad attitude ruin my practice. Think about it like that.
Okay. And I think that's a very mature and level-headed way of thinking about it. Cyno, do you have any ranked pet peeves, specific picks maybe that you hope to avoid? Things, mids or supports or AD carries or solo laners that you're not used to playing with do?
Well, for me, the only thing that really annoys me is like if I pick a mage, and then my mid laner picks an assassin, because like, oh, we need an assassin on our team. Like, just pick what you normally pick, and then I'll pick what I want to play.
Well, the game says, you're missing an assassin or whatever, right? Does it still do that? I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. It used to say what, no damage.
Yeah,
or something
like when
that.
It said lacks damage.
Right.
And you just have like 5 damage.
It's got 5 AD carries on your team.
Well, lack CC, you've just got like 4 guardians.
Yeah, I suppose adhering too much to the strict meta could be a bit frustrating. Twig, is there anything that just sets you off in ranked that makes you press the power button for the night?
Oh yeah, and it's definitely like people like genetics, right? Like they can't not use their keyboard during the game. It's like There's only one way to make ranked teams, players that are just playing their game, like Scream said, to make them play worse, and it's by typing on a cooldown. Because you know the other guy's going to have to press enter.
Yeah, press
They're
enter.
literally AFK in the game. They're not doing anything. They're not farming. They're not doing anything. They're not poking. They're just typing. And all that time could have been spent doing anything else in the game. And it's like, how did these guys even make the MMR that they got just typing all game? It's like insane.
They're just
to
that
me.
good.
Yeah,
There's
maybe.
a world where if you're walking and then press enter, you can type as long as the
Yeah,
word
yeah.
you're
Well,
typing
there's
doesn't have
auto-run,
a
right?
W in it.
Yeah.
And there's auto run, I suppose. But even still,
It's just, I don't know, man. It does not help you,
Yep.
typing. Unless you're literally saying, build this item that's really good and busted. It's like,
and they better be listening to you, right?
well, I mean, some people just don't know what to build, which is fine. But that's it. That's the only thing that chat should be good for.
That's right. You heard it here first, chat. And he's talking to you at home directly right now. The only thing you're good for, I don't know if I would trust chat with builds, though. Our chat.
Yeah, I'd
Maybe
say
I
if
would. I'd trust some of them.
you
with
want to
builds.
gain a whole level, like plat to diamond or diamond to masters.
Yeah, that's me, Dave to diamond.
Stop typing. That's it. That's what I'd say.
Good. Just mute everyone, turn on some
You'll
music.
rank
and
up so
do your thing.
fast. Yeah, yeah.
Adapting, if your answer's been stolen, do you have anything unique about ranked that just grinds your gears?
I mean, it's mainly just people typing. I don't really mind if people, even like when people are bad, like I might complain about it. Like if I'm like streaming or something, I'll say, oh man, like, why is this person dying again? But it's like, I don't really care as long as people don't type. And I just get a bad feeling, like when you're in a lobby, right? When you get into the lobby and people start typing, like before anything's happened, like not even flaming, they're just like typing too much. Like it's a bit like too much friendliness or something.
That's right. You don't know
Like-
me.
Like
We're not friends.
they don't even have to be talking to me. Like they're just talking. Like they're like there's something just happens where like I know like okay, this guy's he's a nice guy, so I'm not gonna like be mean to him.
Right.
But I know he's about to go 0-10.
Right.
He's like, let's have a great game, guys. He's like, let's have a great game. And it's hard.
I want everyone to predict the KDA that I'm about to have in this ranked game. I load into the lobby based on what I'm saying when I load into the lobby. Good evening, gamers. Let's have a good one. That's the first thing I send in picks and bans. What do you think that I'm going in that game?
Definitely like 3 and 8.
2 and 12.
Actually,
2 and
depending on
12.
your role, I'd say if
Days.
you're like a hunter player, you're like 3 and 8 easily.
3 and 8,
Yeah,
lowest damage in
You
the game.
died at 2, then 4, and then you got soloed at like 8.
That's it. Okay.
Something like that.
All right, so that's like way too friendly. What's something a bit more in the middle? I'm about to promo. Please, I need a win. What do we think I'm going in that next game?
That's pretty good though. You'll usually have very minimal deaths
Okay.
because those people like they're really looking for that dub. They've slammed a meta god. It's like hard to kill, whatever, and they've like playing passive because they know like someone's gonna win it for them.
Do you think it could be like a 0-0 game, though, where like 20 minutes in, they've done nothing?
Yeah, like a 102 Jingwei game.
Right. Wow, what a dream.
That's the dream. That's what you want. 6 crit items. They've killed one person.
I load into your lobby, and I say, hey, blank, fill in each of your names there. Huge fan. Can I have jungle? What do you think and you let me do it. You let me take jungle against your better judgment. What do you think I'm going in that game?
Oh, I know you're feeding. I just know, but I don't care. Like if people are being like nice about it, it's like
Alright,
it's
fair
fine.
enough.
Like we can tank this loss.
Fair enough. Is there any message where you know for sure the person is going to do really well? Is there anything on the other side,
Yeah.
or do you prefer silence? If somebody is silent, you know that they have an okay chance of having a good game.
When they ask for like an OP pick, then usually
Yeah.
you can be fine.
Yeah.
Like just pick me like a Marty Chorus or something like that. So I'm like, all right, you know what? This might be a game.
I've noticed some people when they're like, oh, can I play this role? And they're like, no, sorry. Like the guy says like, no, they can't play that. And they're like, okay, no problem. Those guys tend to do okay, I feel
Yeah,
like.
that's a good point. It's about how they react to bad news, right?
Yeah.
Or like if they hover a pick and it gets when they want and it gets banned, instead of flaming,
They're
like,
no
bummer.
problem.
Yeah, right.
Chad.
Like no worries, just get me this person
Yeah.
instead or whatever. Yeah, first impressions are certainly key in ranked. Looking at the role as a whole, though, does everyone here watch traditional sports in any capacity? We all do in one way, shape, or form. What do you watch, Scream, mostly?
I'm not like super into anything in particular, but like I kind of jump around and watch like, you know, playoffs of like general sports. Like,
What are you most comfortable comparing like a jungle to a position in a traditional sport?
probably like basketball or football.
Okay, so football is probably what, quarterback? Would you say the jungler is the quarterback of the football team? Or basketball, if you feel more comfortable with that.
Well, basketball is like point guard. Like that's pretty fair.
Cyno, you're basketball too, right?
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
you agree, point guard?
Yeah, probably point guard. Yeah.
What qualities do you think the two share?
They're like the playmaker kind of deal going on is how I look at it. And like, you know, they kind of control the shots, you know.
See, I know nothing about basketball.
You
so I'm
control the
learning.
pace, you know.
Right. You got to lay down the gauntlet. And your name gets in the paper, right? And that's what's really most important. Not only are you scoring the points or controlling the pace, and your name is on the headline, right? Is that what motivates you too, would you say?
I like being talked up.
I'm trolling a bit, let's be honest.
I'm not trolling. I like being talked up.
Who doesn't, right? Anyone who
it's
says
fun.
no, they might be lying.
Get a little boost to the ego.
Twig, what traditional sport do you watch the most of?
I watch a lot of football or soccer. I'd say jungle is closest to like an attacking midfielder, where you can score goals and like win the game for your team, but like you pass a ton. You're just passing like a lot of the game, and you have to play off every kind of position in the game. So yeah, I think that's my analysis.
Are there some days where you have to play defensive midfielder?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, especially when it comes to me, but there's a lot of defensive blue invades that we have to play. So yeah, you have to play off your defense a lot.
But most often, maybe attacking.
But yeah, you want to be able to be put in a position to score some goals, you know, win the game for your team.
Right. Adapting. Do you watch a sport outside of what these guys have already mentioned?
Nah, I mean, I watch like motorsport, like Formula 1.
Oh man, okay, so Formula One. We can do this. We can theory craft this. Jungle is most like the tires on the steering wheel in the car. No, that's
Steering
not
wheel?
good. Well, you can't be the driver, right? Could you be the driver? I guess it depends on your look at this.
Of course, with the driver.
That's right. All right, you're the.
We're just operating the car.
That's right. You're driving, and the car can be the team,
Yeah.
and you know the wheels might be
The support. Yeah.
right? The engine,
That's the mid and the ADC, I guess.
right? The mid and the AD carry. The body of the car is the solo laner, and you're the driver. All right, we've made our way home here, guys. Good job. that was a good group effort. If you look at all of the growing pains at swapping to jungle, and there are maybe some viewers out there who are not SMITE World Champion caliber junglers. Are there a couple areas in your mind that you feel like you really had to focus on, and players at home should really focus on as far as jungle and in honing their jungle gameplay? What are maybe a few of the bullet points that make or break a really good jungler in your mind?
I would say understanding why you're going to places is a big one. Like, don't just be like, I'm going to go gank this guy, LOL. Like sometimes ganking people is useless. Like,
Right.
Like if the gold tree is up and you're ganking a soul laner and it's going to give them gold tree, it's like, what's the point kind of sometimes.
Sure.
Also knowing how to farm camps efficiently, that's a big one. That people kind of just like kill camps one after another.
Cyno, what do you think some bullet points of being a good jungler are?
I think being able to track the other jungler is pretty important in a lot of
I
games.
can't do that at all. It's really difficult.
Yeah, definitely takes some getting
How
used
long
to.
did that take you to perfect?
I don't
Are you
know.
still perfecting it?
I'm still perfecting it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I did not know he was going.
Right. Yeah, it happens every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
That's what words are for over in the duo lane. Twig, do you have any bullet points for a...
It's a hard one. I feel like the one that a lot of like the lesser, like the junglers that are maybe weaker or more beginning, they're going to be behind a lot. They're going to be not farming. They're going to look at like a fight breaking out or like just a grouping or just some like poke trade, and they're going to just default there. They're just going to walk there while like 6 camps are up on the map. And I feel like that is like the number one. Like sometimes just doing 3 camps is like better than getting a kill, you know, like
Especially with speed.
yeah, get your speed, like share red, do your backs and blue, and it's like, well, that's kind of better than running to duo because a fight's breaking out, and then like hoping to be part of some assists, you know, and just being there. I feel like the best junglers are gonna. It's fine not to be part of a kill or to let a lane get ganked and not like be 10 seconds behind because you're just scrambling, hoping that your lanes are like gonna live long enough for a counter gank. Just like play your own game, I guess, and farm and take spots that you want, not like based on what your opponents are doing. If they're invading a purple, you don't need to be there. You can just do your own thing.
That's where muting chat is probably also helpful, right? If you're not there for everything.
Yeah.
And the teammates start wondering where you are.
Yeah. It's just playing with your own mind and playing your own game and farming a lot.
Yep. Adapting, do you have any thoughts on what some of your growing pains and maybe individual things for players to focus on that were kind of difficult to really lock down with jungle?
I think it's just the same thing. Like when I started learning to jungle, the thing I was most focused on was learning how to farm. And I feel like that's what a lot of people neglect. Like he said, like people just think that you're just meant to gank on cooldown.
Yeah.
That's not how it is. Like you're playing the map however it's meant to be played. Like you're utilizing your team as much as you can. They're utilizing you kind of back and forth. There just needs to be a balance in it. And, you know, like, sure, sometimes you think, you know, you might be able to leave a camp up because you think there's a high probability of going for a kill. But, you know, don't stick around in a lane for like a minute when you have farm on the map, just to wait for like a maybe gank to happen.
Well, I feel like we see that sometimes in the SPL, at least with the games that I watch, where one of the two junglers could be, you know, 2-0, 3-0, something like that. And the other jungler's triple goose eggs, but is even or ahead just because they maybe have farmed the map more effectively. Now there's a bigger picture. You kind of have to look everywhere and how the kills have impacted different parts of the map. But I do think that farming seems to be the name of the game with that role. Maybe some final thoughts here, and I'm just going to go around the table. Favorite and least favorite jungle as a character, characters. Favorite and least favorite jungle characters to play against. To
play against. I actually really like playing against Circuit. I feel like there's a lot of like fun intricacies about a lot of matchups that are neat about that. I do not like playing against Hebo. I do not like playing against like.
Yeah, good.
It's a good one, like Pele maybe. Like they're just not enjoyable to play against because there's not much going on. Like, the same thing happens in repeat.
He knocks me out. He water hands me.
Yeah, and
rushing
like,
waves me, and I'm dead.
It's like awesome. Like
what a dream.
Like next time I'll get knocked up again and then get ulted again. It's like unlucky.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's not much interplay there.
Yeah,
is there? Cyno, what are some of your favorite and least favorite jungle gods to play against?
I also like playing against a god, honestly. I think there's, like you said, there's a lot of different things you can do against that god. And I don't like playing against like Daji or Humbots because I don't want to buy beads like level 1. You know
that's
what I mean?
annoying. Nobody wants that.
Like, congrats, man. You can ult me when I don't have beads. Like, let's be real. You know?
I want blink right away.
Yeah.
I don't want beads. Adapting, how about you? Favorite and least favorite gods to be against?
Favorite? I don't know. Just
I don't like playing against anyone.
No, I mean I don't really mind any assassin. I feel like, or like, I mean maybe like playing against Hebo or something is kind of annoying, just because he's just slippery and he just does so much damage.
And annoying.
And yeah, that's it.
We'll take Hebo.
I've
Hebo seems to be a popular answer. Twig, do you have favorites or least favorites to go against?
Yeah, I mean, what the other guys are saying was pretty good, but I think it comes down to the like 1v1. If you're getting like face roll 1v1'd by like anyone, it's like you don't want to be playing against Bakasura or Arachne and just they've got like their chin on W and M1 and it's like, well, this is fine. You either survive it or don't. It's like that's it. Or like you anticipate like avoiding it or not. It's like, well, they can just play they could technically play any corner. I guess Susano maybe. They could technically play any corner on the map, and if you're just pulled into his 3, it's like, well, you're either dead or not dead based on how far ahead he is in his items. It's like, well, there's a lot of face roll moments that it is really boring to play against. I guess I'd like to play against a god like Rat, Circuit, Thor. These gods that like it's actual skill whether you win the 1v1 or not.
Some of those are my favorite matchups to watch. Love the dunk gods. I want everyone here, at least one Thor game in the next week. That's just doctor's orders. All right, one word, and then we're going to close out the show here. Favorite jungle god of all time, starting with whoever has an obvious one come to mind.
Thor.
Thor.
I guess Naja.
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 Naja. Round us out here, Scream.
I think Tsukiyomi maybe.
Really?
I love that guy.
All right,
Aye, aye, aye.
Tsukiyomi, we got some eye rolls. Unfortunately, I said one word, so you can't defend yourself. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. This has been Roll Q with all, or I guess some of the SMITE World Championship winning junglers. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got more action coming up next.